Welcome to All About the Game podcast in association with Clinched. You can download our podcast on all platforms every Friday. Clinched is a sports app that helps link clubs with coaches. If you were a coach in rugby, soccer or GAA and you are ready for your next role or your first role, download and sign up to Clinched app for free today.
And Leinster looking to counter here. Sean O'Brien, well, if there's one player who can take a hit from Courtney Laws and stand and see it off and bounce off.
Raised thanks to the accurate free-taking of John Doyle. 2 points between the teams.
Football is hurling, and maybe in that moment should have slipped out very to go have a conversation and say, I want to make that decision, but it ultimately comes down to them.
Hello, and you're very welcome back to All About the Game podcast in association with Clinched. We're back for episode 16 after a small little break, nice and refreshed. Welcome back to great Johnny Doyle, and we're joined by Tom O'Connell this week, better known as Unofficial Kildare. Identity revealed.
I was actually saying yesterday, I was talking to John Dorn of hurling fame and I work with, and he was like, I was listening to the pod, and I said, yeah, no, it was good, it was lighthearted. I said, yeah, brilliant guest coming on. He says, who's that? I said, the Real Unofficial. Oh, he says, what does he look? He's like, what do you say? He's like Michael Collins. We know he's out there, but no one knows what he looks like.
Well, I'm done now.
You're done now.
You're
famous.
It's the first time I've ever spoken or ever faced name.
We won't be too hard on you.
Well, look, all the millions of listeners anyways, you're really you're going global. Hello, Tom, we appreciate you coming on. It's great to have you. I suppose everyone, as I said, knows you as Unofficial Kildare and all the great work you've been doing on Kildare Championship and following Kildare. So I suppose start with a bit about yourself. Where did it all start, or was always a big following with Kildare, and you're a Castledermot man?
Yeah, Castledermot man, yeah.
Unfortunately for you, but
I thought I was going to have to sit in the middle this evening.
Well, Jim Flano said he thought he was in Castledermot when he was here.
Well, he got his knuckles wrapped as well.
North Kildare lads get lost when they come down here. I've been following like Kildare since I was really, really young. Same like, I suppose anybody that grew up in the 90s following Kildare, you would have got that bite for it. There were people that were lucky enough to remember it. When I was growing up, my first match was actually 1993 Leinster final, Kildare and Dublin in Crow Park, and I always remember that as my first game because we were up in the old Cusick stand, or big old rickety wooden, big old beast of a yoke. We were in the front row of the top deck, and I remember my father bringing me, and he was at the Leinster final the year before, which was a bit closer as Kildare and Dublin as well. And he had said to me, "We're going to bring you out this time, and we'll go up and we'll have the crack." And I just remember walking out into the top deck and looking down, and we were on the 45 at the hill end, and looking down on the hill. Imagine a young lad now, never seen anything like this in my life. Barely on TV, like you'd only ever see it in the distance. It's like just a wave of people. It was just now, unfortunately, there were dubs, but like there was just, it was unbelievable. It was just, I remember actually around that, Vinnie Murphy got sent off that day. I told this story to somebody here years ago as my earliest memory. Vinnie Murphy got sent off around halfway through the second half. I remember Vinny. Like Vinny was a big hardy. Yeah. He was proper hardy. Every time he came on, he caused murder. But he was super player. I think he hurled with Dublin as well.
That's right.
But he got sent off, and when he got sent off, all the Kildare fans started booing. And I looked around. I said, boo. So I went, boo. And my father reached across and gave me a rap on the kneecap and goes, "Shut up! Don't be stop that!" Like So I was kind of put my head down and said nothing. So I spent all my summers in Clontarf when I was growing up for about 3 or 4 weeks. My uncle worked in AIB, so he was very close to a lot of lads in the GAA. So I was out the back of his garden about 2 weeks after this game, and my uncle was from Cork. He always gave me a hurl. He said, "You will bring hurling back to South Kildare." So I was out pucking the ball, and Sean appeared at the back door, my uncle. He says, Thomas, just come up here for a sec. Come in here for a minute. And there was this big old shadow behind him. As I went up, so who was it? Vinnie Murphy.
Oh, gee.
What's the first thing Vinnie Murphy said? "I heard you booing from the top deck of the Cusick stand, and I've been looking for you for 2 weeks."
You say rattling.
That's rattling. I imagine me as a 7-8-year-old. I didn't last too long now. We had a bit of a laugh and a joke, and just brilliant now, in fairness to him.
Very good.
So, it's a good start to your inter-county career.
Absolutely, yeah.
Frightened the life for you. I've had those situations with a lot of dubs down the years, afraid of my life for them. And they're coming running at you.
We're lucky enough the way the 90s went, like say 95, 96, it was what it was. But 97 then with the Meath 3-game saga, that really sparked the interest in the county, especially that second game, the replay.
It was. But it's funny, I was doing a little thing for AIB. You mentioned AIB, I was doing a little promotion thing. And I was talking to Trevor Giles. He was obviously representing Meath for the semi-final. I was talking to him, and he was asking about Willie McCreary and how was going with the horse and different lads. And he's, we were just chatting, and we talked about that 97. And he said to me, it's amazing the way Meath viewed us. He said they were the hardest matches I ever played. He said even against the Dubs. I said, why was that? He says, because they never stopped running. They ran and ran and ran. And it was Miko's training at the time. He just ran. He said, we'd be absolutely out on the feet in the Kildare, but he'd be still going, he says. But
the end of that game, remember it was a really hot day.
Yeah.
And the new Cusick was there at that time. And I remember the players just strewn around the pitch, and they think they had to go again.
Yeah.
And that was knockout stuff.
Yeah.
Once you were gone, you were gone.
You were fighting for your life, yeah.
Because if you think, I was talking to somebody recently and they wouldn't have remembered the 90s, and we were talking about the qualifiers when they came in 2001. And that was 97, and we all know what 98 was. It was our full summer, all the way to the All-Ireland final. But I always remind people, do you remember 99? Imagine that, you had two back-to-back summers, 97, 98, of just unbelievable passion and excitement in the whole county. Then 1999 comes around. Kildare were one of the favourites for the All-Ireland. And they draw awfully in Crow Park and get beaten. And the summer's done. Game over. Your summer is done, and that's the championship done. I think it was May. And your whole summer is done.
Man, you're looking forward to all the days.
Unbelievable. Sick. Absolutely sick it was.
It was different.
It was different times. Yeah, it was different times. But you talk about that, and another thing that reminds me of 99 was that time, if a pitch or club were doing up a pitch, or they'd put a new railing on the pitch, they got Kildare to play. But in that year, I could have been maybe July, August of 99, Ribbon opened their pitch after doing some development. And of course, that time there was so many of the players gone to America because it was short summer, and I got a call to go down and play. That was my first time to play Kildare Seniors down in Ribbon, and I was playing wing back. And I thought, this was at
which stage?
This was because Kildare were gone earlier, so they were able to play that match. And that's when I played my first wing back. I don't think I spent the whole day running around. I don't think I got kicked out.
Got the players' autographs.
Delighted with myself. Got my flag signed and everything. So every cloud.
The opportunity open.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Some crack.
Yeah, no, it was. It's even mental when you think, I just think you spoke about it before, 2000, then you were in and you win a Leinster, and it's the last Leinster Kildare have. It's crazy to think, and say all the years, how Kildare were so close to Dublin and got back there kind of under Geezer, and please God, the Dubs seem to be coming back to the pack a bit, and you get that, but in one way it seems a lifetime ago, and it's hard to believe that it is that long ago, and how much there is a need for a Leinster, and as I say, hopefully, I think every kind of team is going to be a bit rejuvenated now, because seeing Meath beating the Dubs, look, the Dubs are still going to be favourites next year, but there is that chance where realistically you never go into a game saying, oh, we're going to lose today, but there was that inevitability of jeez, if we get close to them, or stop an onslaught, but it definitely seems to be opening up in that way. I suppose, and from there, Tom, then I suppose that was, you had the bug, and that was it.
Yeah, that was, again, it was as regards the content and the page. I was trying to think, actually, driving down, whether it was 5, it could have been 5, or I think I might have set up the page maybe even 7 years ago, but it was always just there, kind of nothing really happening. But around, I think 2020, 2021, I think I was abroad on holidays, and I wasn't even looking for results, because I was able to get the results. It was the format. It was the tables. What do they mean? As in the structure and stuff. Because a lot of people directly involved with clubs, they'll know all this stuff. But I was kind of thinking, as a fan, I'd like to. And then if somebody wasn't a fan, they might become a fan if they knew a bit more about it. So I started just doing up. I did it up for myself. to understand the structure of the championship, colour coding the places and that kind of stuff. And then I sent it to somebody, and they were like, "Oh, that helps. That's handy. Why don't you publish?" And I said, "Sure, nobody will care. Like about 50 followers, you know, nobody should put it up anyway." Then I started publishing just tables and fixtures and results just early on, just with the same format it is now. It looked a fair bit different now. It was a bit rough and ready. But people seemed to like it, and you know, more people kind of latched onto it, and then people said they found it easy to follow, and I just kind of stayed. Then kind of committed to it then, because I was thinking if I just do it now and again, that defeats the purpose. So just be consistent with it and try cover all the championships, all the leagues, and then from there, then it just carried on as the years went on. You know, took off a little bit then with obviously more followers, more people talking about it, more interaction with clubs and players and people like yourselves, you know, just getting to know more people and finding out that people actually valued it a lot. So that kind of that spurs you on when you realise that people are enjoying it.
When they're asking about it, or if I suppose if I'm missing the morning, they're inquiring where. Like I would find that if I'm looking for a table now or, you know, results, I just go straight to your page. Like, you know, it's kind of the go-to. It is the go-to, and there's a lot of people in the same boat. But even what's really good about it is it's not, I suppose. Well, I always know for myself, or maybe yourself, Johnny, you're always following the senior championship, and you kind of, you know, you'll follow the intermediate a bit. You might see a few teams, but in junior, then you mightn't. There isn't much probably exposure ever of games where you're consistent in covering them all, which is really good. And you know, whether it be
ladies,
teams,
camogie,
ladies, everything in, which is great, and like, you know, team of the weeks or scores, like. Everyone likes clapping the back, or if, you know, make a team of the week, and someone says text Jizz, or a club will put it up. Yeah. Well done to our John Niall who was made. Like, that's good for lads. That's you know, it's
big time. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that either. Yeah. But like,
the one thing I really wanted to do, because I really like the junior championship in Kildare. You know, it can be competitive. It's just raw football.
Yeah, really it's competitive, more competitive now more than ever. Yeah.
And this year it will be surely be competitive. I wanted to treat the three championships the exact same as regards exposure. So the senior, intermediate and junior, the same. If I'm doing something for the senior, I do the exact same thing for the junior, for the intermediate. Everything has to be the same with the scorer charts, team of the week, everything. Don't forget the junior. Yeah. So just keep everything in there.
But even that's different.
Yeah.
Like, you take the exposure that this All-Irelands will get, this semi-finals will get, and then you have on Friday night you have Kilkenny, captained by Nathan Sherry of
That's right, yeah.
Of To My House.
Yeah.
Are playing London on Friday night in Abbottstown in the junior All-Ireland semi-final. And nobody knows about it. Yeah. And to make it matters worse is if they win, they're playing the final on Sunday. Like, but we're all the same in the GAA. There's no one any better than anyone. Do you know that?
But this is
it. Like, we talk over both sides of the mouth, and that's what I like as well. Like, you know, everybody gets the same exposure. Just because you're playing at a lower level, or, you know, people still can see, and that to me is why I think it's so successful. And there's a consistency across. And, you know, I've 3 girls coming up. They're football mad, and like, they be saying, "Oh, the Kildare win. Who scored? How did Ciara Moran get on?" Do you know? And you can, like, it's very hard to even get, like, ladies. Even I want to see if Nafina won. Like, you might get it on, you might not, but you go to your page and all the stuff is there, which is brilliant. Like, I think that's class.
In fairness to the Kildare LGFA at the moment, like, they have a view of covering those championships in great detail. Like, they covered they had the draw. I helped them out with the draw that we had in Malin Motors as well. And it was similar stuff, you know, have it live. And then I made a video for them where the teams pop up on the screen when they're being drawn out. But just speaking to them regularly, they want to make sure when the championship starts that they're all covered in graphics as well. Like, so they're doing their side, because they let me kind of work away the same as everything, and I'll do my own graphics and my own fixtures. But they do have a view where they want to absolutely cover everything. So I will say now they have they have that vision there at the moment now as well. Some really good people in there. Yeah. So
but again, it's something we're not good at in general in the GAA. We're not good at. Like, you take 2 of the biggest games, and there will be a bit of stuff. 2 semi-finals this weekend. There'll be a couple of pages on it, but you open the Star. There'll be 5 or 6 pages on soccer. There'll be a bit on the line. Do you know? And these are our national games. We don't promote, like, stats. you would have all the score. And in fairness to Richard, and I know we don't get access to it anymore, his Kildare 365. Absolutely brilliant. You want to know who played in the last Leinster final? Was he on the team? He said all there.
He absolutely. What he has, his database, and there's another page there, Kildare Times.
Yes.
I don't know who runs that page, but they're the exact same.
Yeah.
Once somebody's looking for a bit of information, they'll have it, because they obviously have all this information stored at home. Like the scoring stats I do is because the coverage of games is so good in the media in Kildare, and you have to hand that to them, because I wouldn't be able to do those scoring charts unless every game was covered and scores were provided. If there was one game in junior missed, just say it was Kildangan against Rathcoffey, and that game was missed and I had no scores for it, I'd have to just stop doing the score charts, because I'd miss one game and it all goes.
Gone,
But they have that consistency, they have that drive in them that they want to promote that game in Kildare, and the leader does the same. They cover all these matches and they're excellent at it, I think. And then storing all those stats for people like me to use whenever I need them. They're absolutely brilliant.
From a time point of view, it must take a lot of time, I suppose. Like that, and you probably get quicker at it now and over like the last few years. But like, there's incredible like the amount of information. Like as you say, you've the games might be covered, but you just go and draw up all them scores, put them into whatever it needs be. But like there's a lot of work in it, I'd imagine. It
is, but so I've spoken to a lot of clubs have reached out to me over the years. Just, would you be able to give us a dig out on how to, we want to show this on a graphic. So I've helped out a few clubs. I'm obviously not going to name them, but they're just brilliant people. Like I've worked with, and I've set up templates for them. So that's what I do for myself. So I'll make things as easy as possible. At the start of the season, I remember somebody was looking at the first table I put up, and I said, that's the most work I'll put into that this year, because I made it from scratch and it was ready to go. And now on a Sunday, when the scores come in, I'll just go in and I'll just change the figures and change a few things around, but I'll have everything set up, and then it's just a case of dragging and drop, so once you put the work in early, and this is why some clubs are a bit worried about, not to put in the effort in, but they might be intimidated, thinking that we wouldn't have the manpower to do this or whatever. But so if you set yourself up early in the season, like if you're putting up a match, just use the same template every week and just change the crests, change the names, and you can do it in 2 minutes, and you'll have constant flow of content coming out. And clubs have done that, and they're like, I think the standard has really improved in clubs, how they're promoting their own clubs, their own level, their own games. Really, really has. They're all trying different things now. Different clubs are trying to see. Kildangan and Ballykelly now are trying really good video content. Using TikTok.
I think was it Kildangan had or maybe it was they were in the final and they had kind of a video.
Yeah,
bit of training and kind of like coming up to it. Fair play to them. Like
this is it, but it's just trying something. It's trying something, because you're never going to be wrong. Like I spoke to somebody before and they were worried. But what if I make a balls of this and it doesn't look good? I said, if you get a Microsoft Word blank sheet of paper and you put up St. Lawrence's versus Athy, and you put it up, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Better than just leaving your page blank where people can see they haven't posted in 3 or 4 days. Just put up something. So you're never wrong. If you're trying video content, give it a go. Nobody's going to look at it and say, that's crap, because you're a junior football team in Kildare and you're trying it. Yeah. So just give it a go.
Yeah, and so you're right though. Some clubs are really good, and what I love as well is, like, obviously we can't all get to every game, but the teams the clubs that put up the teams, you said, he's back. I didn't know he was playing. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was looking, was it the Sarsfields and Salins? There was a couple of young lads I'd know through coming through the school, and the patricians. I said, Jenny, he's going well. It's great to see him knocking into the... You'd have a little bit of an interest in how lads were going, or did they ever kick on? I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
More clubs are starting to do that this year. Athy did it the other night for their reserve game.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
And they're using the little jerseys as the positions, they're putting it... But those team sheets, I mean, Sarah Holden runs the social media for Sarsfields. She's doing a brilliant job. She's involved with Kildare as well. She does those team sheets, and they're so valuable. Or some people might look and say, there's the team. But I look and think, there we are now. That's an insight. Who's playing? I don't have to go to the game or wait for a match report to come out. You're looking at it there. And other teams do it. Just random teams throw them up, and they don't,
as you say, it's a template, and just change. Like probably your team might change a whole lot anyways. It might take 5 minutes before games.
Exactly
I actually the Athy one as well, and going through it Brian Kinahan playing.
You're wondering how lads are going.
Yeah, like there's a strong team, and Sarsfield's actually a strong team as well. So, but it's just information that you'll actually have a look at and you appreciate.
I was just fascinated how strong those two teams were in the reserve.
I know.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe some of the names involved with both of them.
Yeah.
So
I suppose at Alamo and Larry's on.
I was waiting for you to bring that up. Let me edit this out. I was expecting you to make a cameo. I was expecting you to make. You didn't.
No.
The bear in the square.
the whale in the square. I was over at. Couldn't stop laughing.
Thanks for that.
Johnny won 2 or 3 frees in the first half, but you always get the usual. If Johnny wins a free, you get lads. Jez, give it because of Johnny died.
I saw that it was.
Yeah, one free anyway. And some people thought it was on the soft side anyways. And Fenner turned around and he says, "That's the way it is playing Alamo. You just have to pay the Johnny Dial tax."
Me and Chris.
So he asked me to ask you about it.
Yeah, no. If you, I figured it out after all this. If you played for Kildare and you're not allowed to get free. There was guards in the stand there going to make or arrests and everything. That was with a assault case, but no, Johnny gets a free.
Johnny Dial tax. Even though Fenner said if it was me, I'd bring it up and I'd kick it over for him.
I was having Chris a good friend.
Good old mates, but I couldn't stop laughing when he said it. But yeah, and obviously I suppose big one this weekend, Halton Cup final, Kildare and Limerick. I suppose it's great to be there. First of all, I suppose at the start of the year, you're probably saying it's so important you get to a Leinster final and avoid the Halton Cup. But when you're there, I suppose your ambitions change and you want to win it. So they're in the right position to do that on Saturday. I presume you've probably been to most or all the games or most of them. I see live on Instagram at them. So I suppose in terms of the new setup and how they're playing, and obviously look, there's a lot of 20s coming into it and big change. What are your thoughts, I suppose, ahead of the weekend and match against Limerick?
Yeah, I mean, exactly as you said at the start of the year, their focus has to be Leinster and All Ireland. That's the way you look at it. And the lads have a lot of media coverage this week. The lads have said that. And as soon as the Louth match was over, their attention shifted to Halton Cup. And that was the mentality. We're going full on for it. And they have. They've absolutely gone on. They've all spoken about the younger players integrating this year, getting used to the new rules. But they've done what they've needed to do so far. They've played the maximum number of games this year. If you think about it, got to a league final. And they've got to a Halton Cup final. Without playing a preliminary quarter final. So they've done what they've had to do. I know there's one more hurdle left, obviously. But like as the year goes, with those young players coming in, I mean, there are huge positives there. They're really like some of those players coming in and the maturity they've shown in games. James McGrath scoring 3 goals, coming in. I was reading Hylow's piece in the Nationalist yesterday, and he said a really interesting piece about he gave the ball away in the Fermanagh game, and Colm Dalton made a run over to him and said, "Next time, Hylo, next time, get the next one." And he said it was unbelievable. He said, "Here I am, one of the most mature players on the team, and here's one of the lads in his first year, and he's the one encouraging me." And it was a brilliant just insight into where they are at the moment and how they're looking. So I'm really looking forward. Genuinely, I'm really looking forward to Saturday, because I want to see how they perform. It's a once-off game, and we all want to win, but they won't be taking Limerick lightly. You have to respect Limerick coming out of Division 4 this year, beating Wexford in the final in Croke Park. They've also won back-to-back games in Croke Park, if you think about it. Yeah. Because they won the Division 4 final and they beat Wicklow the last day. So I can't remember the last time we won back-to-back games in Croke Park. Genuinely. I can't. I was trying to think about it again. I can't think off the top of my head. And, they came from behind against Wicklow. They looked like they were dead and buried. They've beaten Westmeath as well this year. Yeah. People have to remember these things. They have to respect them by Saturday. And now the Kildare lads will be. Absolutely. They'll be tuned in. They'll know all of this. But Kildare fans just need to go up and say, there's a battle there to be won. There's nobody going to will be big favourites. Probably 4-1 on maybe. But, Limerick are no joke.
No, definitely not. I was just looking at that before, like as you say, beat Antrim by 8 points as well before that. And then I think it was between themselves and Westmeath to top the group. And Westmeath would have been going into that game obviously wanting to win, and we all seen Westmeath in action against Kildare earlier on the year. They're a good side and probably would have fancied themselves for the Halton Cup and missed out to Wicklow. But Limerick have good players. I actually played army football with Ian Corbett, and remember he was only about 19 or 20, and he was a tank. He was excellent, and at that time, like, we were down. We actually played the Podge and Johnny competition, but like, we had a really good team. There was loads of one of the Kilbrides from Roscommon was there. Chalky was on it. Ray Cal, Adam Tyrrell. We had a really strong team, but your man Corbett was cornerback, and he was nearly the best player we had. And geez, he's had a fine career with Limerick, but like, they've quality. They've knocked up front, and Patrick Neville seems to be really flying this year and a goal threat. Like, they do have
4-12 in the last league game.
Yeah,
4-12 Knockton scored. Like, now he's getting a lot of attention now. You can see that in games. I watched that Westmeath game. I've seen a few of their games and watched highlights and others, and you can see the attention Knockton's getting. He only scored 2 points last day.
He came off though, did he? Last this?
He came off
with an ankle injury.
Yeah,
did he come off? He come off early.
Well,
the attention that was brought on him gave room for Danny Neville. Like, I mean, Neville's he's 31. Danny Neville, like, but he's as fast as he was years ago. Like, he played that match that we played against him. Just can't remember. Was it 5 or 6 years ago? You know, like, and he was only in his 20s then. But like, he scored 1-2 the last day. And he's lethal. And I was watching highlights recently, and I was trying to pick out him. He does this brilliant thing where he shoots mid-stride, whether it's for a goal or a point. He's lightning fast, and as he's sprinting towards the full back line, you know, there's some lads that'll do a bit of a half a wind up or something, or he just shoots. And you'll see it yourselves on Saturday, and when you see it, you think you'll know what I'm talking about now. But he's a super player, and they're massive. There's not one lad under 6 foot on the Limerick team. The midfielders are both 6'5".
Jesus.
Especially with the new kick-outs now, their primary ball around the middle is going to be huge, and obviously it will depend. Will Brendan Gibbons hold on, or will, like, I think rumour has it that Colin is fully fit. Will he come back into it? You know, it's going to be interesting, and that's especially, I say, with the kick-outs. That battle around the middle is going to be huge, and as you said, they've really big men around there, and like, a lot of their against Wicklow they won that aerial battle, and that was their launch pad, and they just ran hard at Wicklow for the last. So it is going to be interesting. I suppose you just mentioned there, like, the expectation, and we're 4-1 in the books or whatever we are. It's managing that, and we're really good at that in Kildare, and it's nobody's fault. Like, but the outside world, like, you're talking to people, you know, not connected, and they say, you'll surely win that, you know, and you're thinking, that's not the way it works. And I think even when I played, I used to hate that, because the expectation, and if you tell someone, if the players are down to say, you'll be good enough now, you'll be good, you know, maybe subconsciously there's something there. We should be. Next thing, you can be like a rabbit in the headlights, and they say, this wasn't part of the script. So you have to be mentally strong, and you know, it's the old Jim Gavin. I used to hate listening to him when he said, but it is about the process and winning every ball, and just the small little nuggets. You have to keep winning now, and that's where it's going to be key. And we probably have, like, started earlier in the year, we played some brilliant football, but we probably lacked a little bit of consistency over, you know, like we played some unbelievable football in the semi-final against Louth, and then, you know, just drop it. We're getting a hand. I know you're not going to dominate a team for 70 minutes now, but I think that's the area. If we can get that little bit of consistency, you know, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I'm probably watching against the last day against Fermanagh. Like, it's definitely, you'd rather win a bad game than lose a good one. And there's definitely times where they're probably just saying, let's control it, and they don't need to go for the juggler. But like, it's like Derek Irwin, like, such a good footballer, but like, if he had a real on day, it's him, Dan, like, if the boys went and had a real on day, they'd be very hard handled, and you'd love to see maybe Alex, Dan and Derek, three of them just having fire, like, and really going at them, and because you know it's there, and like, I think Darren might have been taken off the last day, and you know, done okay, but everyone has, like, knows what he's capable of, I suppose, and pace and power, and maybe put 2 or 3 goals on them. But look, it's in an ideal world, you're saying, you want to play this kind of style of football, but it's about winning games too, and you know, maybe the slower build up is what's been working for them. They are the favourites, they are the better team, probably that element to control it, and I don't know, that's from the outside. But
in fairness, like, as Johnny said, we do manage that well in the county, and even at the start of Tailteann Cup, people were kind of saying, Offaly will do it, Offaly and Kildare will be there. But we were just saying, we'll see how we get on. And just, I think it's just ingrained in it since 98. Because that 98 final, the whole county just expected us to win. And ever since that, we're just a little bit more careful, coming up to it. Well, like as you said, just if things click on Saturday, that Louth game, Louth semi-final, like we definitely left the Leinster behind us this year. Now, people will laugh at me to say that. In the second half of that Louth game, we dominated Louth. Absolutely dominated for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It was the 3 minutes before half time where they got the goal, which was the last play of the game, and then a couple of points as well that got them back into it. I think it was a 10-point swing. But in the second half, there were 3 Louth lads behind me, and they were older lads. And I turned around at one stage. I think we'd spent about 15 minutes where we owned the ball. Louth couldn't break up the field. And they just looked at me and they were laughing. They said, lads, if you don't win this. And I'm thinking in my head, yes, we're surely kicking. We're kicking on here. And Tommy Dern, I know Tommy Dern quite well. And Tommy hit that monster 2-pointer from about 55 yards. I mean, that was obviously the killer at the end. But we were we were comfortable in possession, but just couldn't get that ball over the bar.
But the disappointing, like if you came away from that game, we were sort of late coming in, so it was down near the front of the stand. And if you kick 10 wide, you say, listen, we didn't even go for it. That was the real frustrating. It was once, I remember, and he proved it in the semi-final. As I know Brian McLaughlin well, you're watching him, and he's such a good left boot. There was times, okay, go, take it on, have a go on. And it was an extra pass. And I think the good thing about the new rules for me as well is you do have to come up with defensive structure. You do have to come up with how we're going to transition, all that. But there is part of this is to just play. Play what's in front of you. We'll give you guidelines, and you look at the top teams. They'll just, particularly Donegal are just brilliant. They'll turn the ball over, and there's 5 of them just bombing, just gone. And then their basics are really good. They'll move it. They'll follow the ball, and only one of them is going to get the ball on the end of the ball. But they're dragging lads everywhere. And we, people say, we don't love it. You put that Kildare team, on along the line with, we'd have as many fast lads as Donegal would, or anyone else. They're athletically but we don't play with that sort of abandonment at times. When we do it, it's brilliant. But I'd love to see them just say, listen, don't get me wrong, you can't just go out and off script, and they'll have certain things they want. But when we have the ball, use that athleticism.
It's the frustration of that last pass.
Yeah.
Now, I think when Mackie came on against Fermanagh, I'd say he just thought to himself, I'm going for this.
Yeah.
If you look at
it, to lose here.
If you look back at it, even when he didn't shoot, as soon as he got the ball, quick look.
Yeah.
And if it was on, he took it.
Yeah.
And that's why he scored. What did he score? 5, 4?
5 points.
But he took it on.
But even that last one, Tommy, the last one he got, I think it was Niall. He got the ball sort of coming onto his left on the canal end, and I think it was Niall Kelly came off him, and normally they give it, and he didn't give it. Fermanagh went, and he was there. I shall just kick it out. It looked like I should just kick it over.
Yeah.
Do you know, he has that in it. So
be interesting
how
to
bad
see
if you don't
will he start on Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm sure there's a few decisions to be made. Neil Flynn is back from Australia as well. Will he use him in the 24? So, or as you say, Brendan Gimmett's in around the middle. I suppose that midfield, as you talk about, 6'5", the two of them. One area that, and certainly probably not Keane Burke's fault, but just seems to be a bit of an issue with Kildare's own kickouts, winning possession. They have big men around the middle. Have they come up with anything different? Or a lot of the time now it's just about being clever on breaks. The whole thing kind of used to be, we'll have kick out strategies, and you go right in. There's not as much room for that anymore, because you have to hit outside the arc. There's going to be going long. You just hit them. Feely's going to contest, as you say. If Gibbons there, he's going to contest. It's going to be breaks.
And it's how hungry we are for the break. You look at Armada last day, and Ethan Rafferty was probably arguably the best striker of a ball from the ground in the country, and Kerry get 14 points in a row off 11 kickouts.
It went the opposite way nearly of how everyone predicted.
It's all about, from looking at it like that, it's how that attacking team, how they push up or how they control. Look at what Westmeath did to us in Newbridge in the Leinster Championship, how they control Kev Feely. I don't know, I haven't spoke to Kevin about it, but it looked like they just gave the little bump when it needed to open up the bit of space, because the clean winning of a ball now in the middle, it happens if a goalkeeper absolutely pings it out to them, because it's very rare now a midfielder goes up between 5 or 6 lads and catches it cleanly. Feely's the only lad that seems to be able to do it all the time. But that's why that in the modern game, a breaking ball, that's where James McGrath, Colm Dalton, that's where these lads come in. They're vital and they're really good at that. Really good at that breaking ball.
I think, in fairness to Keane Burke, I think his kickouts have improved dramatically
100%,
from that. So a lot of them in that Westmeath game, they were hanging, and like no matter how good you are, like if it's hanging, Kevin Feely needs to get 3 steps and get the ball there, and he won't be beaten. Now he's still a very good spring from a standing position and stuff, but it's a much easier. Where now I think Keane's kickouts are just, there's a lower trajectory, and he's putting them. It's, I know from playing the midfield, that's the ball I want. Just a little one into the pocket, you get 3 or 4 yards, and no matter how big he is, you can get your hands to it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And it's probably a confidence thing as well, in like that being in it. Like, I think he played 1 or 2 league games, played the league final and played 1 or 2 up to that. Like, it's the goalkeeper is such a hard position. Like, you can have a great game and you make one mistake and everyone talks about the mistake. Sometimes as a forward you could have a stinker and you bury a goal.
Yeah, it's all forgotten about.
You're great, lad.
Keane Burke made 3 saves in that Westmeath game in Newbridge, and he was getting a bit of grief because of his kickouts.
Yeah.
But he made 3 saves that if he didn't make them, we were gone.
Yeah.
And he was brave in making them. I know, and he kept his head up, and he was getting grief because I heard it.
Yeah.
Well, I got on to
But
lads
you
about
look
it.
at the other side,
it wasn't good enough.
That night I was thinking, geez, Westmeath, the kickouts are lethal, like, as in he was pinging a quick one, but then he gets caught for one. Kildare get the goal off it, and then he gets caught for another one, and Kildare probably should have had another goal. Like, there is risk and reward. Like, everyone's seen it with Kerry last week with Shane Ryan. I think they got caught on one, or another mistake for the me goal. Galway keeper goes short. Corner back takes it, overturned.
And
there's such a risk and reward in it. Like,
Monaghan got the goal off a short kick out as well.
So
straight
like
to Stevie Hanlon.
So there is that risk and reward. But look, the good thing, if you can win that kind of breaking ball, you'd love to see them moving it fast, like to the boys inside.
Yeah, because we have the pace. Like,
I think there was one early ball even into Dan last time, and he was 1-on-1, and you're able to get your shot off. Like, I was up at the quarter-finals, like Galway, who you'd think they waited 45 minutes or 50 minutes until Comer came in to actually start lifting their head up and moving the ball. But like, as I said, it has to be on, but it is on so much more now with the new rules.
We have improved. The Kildare definitely have consistently improved all year on things like that. Like James McGrath and Colm Dalton, I keep picking those out because I think they're really good of those tigerish ball winners. But James McGrath now, they're looking up, the likes of James, looking up quickly, getting the ball up. How many times, it was one of the games in Newbridge, Ben McCormick was brilliant at it. It was obviously a plan. Get the ball, he had his head up, and a quick ball straight into Dara. Try to get it in as quickly as possible because he was after isolating the defender. Just, like, so Brian has changed it up a lot like that this year. Different tactics, moving Alex in the full forward line against Offaly. They're trying different things. Something doesn't work, probably won't try it again. And that's why I've just
even actually they done it against Louth a good bit in the first half, and I was surprised they didn't do it. They kind of stopped. It was, maybe it didn't come off, but it was so close to coming off, and they drove it into Sinky and Dara. But
but again, if you've good kickers and you've ball winners, and because a couple of them don't come off, doesn't mean it's wrong.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
If you lose it up there,
but then all you have to be is lucky once. And next thing, so like you look at a lot of these goals, sometimes it's just that diagonal ball across, and it's the one ball defence hates, because I say it only has to break right for the forward once, and next thing it's a brilliant goal, because we're like, we talk about our ability to get goals with these hard runners. We don't do it as much as we should, so like, how are we going to get goals? We have to move it into the boys inside reasonably quick. Now, it's obviously a mixture of both. You're not going to just drive every ball in, but when we do it, we're effective.
It's where you see the best of Kildare is that quick ball up, whether it's a foot pass, but when the ball is moved quickly. And it's the frustrating part of Kildare is when teams know to just block them off. Stop those lads around the 45 and let them start passing. As soon as they start floating around, we can set ourselves, and that's where, as a fan, you can get frustrated watching because you know what they're capable of. So,
but no, look, hopefully, fingers crossed, and we wish Kildare all the best at the weekend. I see there actually as well, Richie Whelan has them well tugged out for after, so hopefully for the celebrations. But no, look, it's an important game for them. It'll probably take an element of pressure off next year. Of course, there's a Leinster there, but take that talk away of we don't want to be in a Talton, we want to be in. how do you improve playing the fucking Kerry's playing down playing? You want to be in that bracket.
It's the best place to learn against the top teams. You know, you're playing at a different pace. There's no room for error. You know, if you're applying your trade in that environment, it'll be the same going up to Division 2. It's going to be a tough campaign.
Division 2 is serious next year. Like, it's going to be like, it's tough.
So you'd hopefully, you know, obviously you'd love to get into promotion, into things, but even just to get some really good performances, even consolidate in Division 2, that brings you into Championship. You know, you have the safety of not going to the Tactical Cup. It's a great learning, and add 2 or 3 maybe younger players into that environment. Like, it's the place you want to be, like, you know.
Without a doubt. And obviously we have the senior finals this weekend as well. I suppose Meath, and it wasn't too long ago, they were winning a Tailteann Cup. Like, they've been probably the story of the summer so far. Like, in fairness, beating the Dubs and to go and lose to Louth was very disappointing. I was actually thinking the other day, or maybe asking you, like, who would you rather be? And I actually was listening to a podcast then with Niall MacDonald, the Louth keeper. Who would you rather be? Would you rather be Meath or Louth? Would you rather have the Leinster, or even going forward, or would you rather be in Meath's position? Like, in fairness to them, they've beaten Kerry, they've beaten Dublin, and now they've beaten Galway. Like, they're fairly showing that it's not a fluke. Like, you know, you might take one team down and not back it up, but like, massive wins along the way, and it'll be interesting. I suppose we'll start with that game, Meath and Donegal. It looks now like, from one sense, I'm kind of thinking there's a lovely semi-final for Donegal that, you know, you could have a tougher one, but Meath won't, you know, they've nothing to lose maybe, or you know, will feel that everything is bonus territory. It probably in a small way reminds me of Kildare when got to a semi-final. Like, maybe it wasn't as expected that year, Johnny, when Joe got it down, and all of a sudden then, without maybe thinking at the start of the year, did you lose the first round?
Lost to Louth.
Lost to Louth, yeah. So it looks like, you know, where are we going?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everyone's thinking, Jesus, we could win an All-Ireland here. And I'm sure Meath have that feeling about them. The good times are back. And they'll bring a big crowd.
Oh, they will. There'll be a huge crowd. And there was a huge crowd the last day. Like,
savage crowd, yeah.
Yeah. But Meath, a bit like Kildare, and I know I suppose they have a lot more to show for their last 40 years than Kildare have. But the big thing with Meath is they're hungry for success. Like, they're football mad county, no different than ourselves, and they travel. Like, there were huge crowds the last day. When I went up with it was a huge. But you're right, they've, and like a lot of people say it's come out of nowhere. Like, I tend to disagree. Like, again, I would have felt last year there was a lot of good work done by Trevor Giles was there, Colin O'Rourke, obviously, a lot of good people. And you know, Robbie Brennan just didn't arrive down with Dublin. Here's the magic wand, lads, let's go. Now, there was players came back into it that had been away, and they're playing with that abandonment that we talked about. We love to see from Kildare at times. Like, you just have to look at the corner forward, his
Jordy
name.
Morris.
Yeah, Jordy Morris.
Yeah.
Like, the first couple of balls, he went to take on the man, he lost them, turned over, but he went again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He kept going. He was like a lad. He reminded me of Jack Russell. You couldn't knock him away. He kept going, and eventually he got there.
I kind of like that one about Robbie Brennan after he said, talking about, because we call them creative turnovers. He said, because there's such a kind of focus on turnovers, but he was kind of saying, well, if you don't go at him, you know, if he didn't continue to do that, Meath wouldn't have won the game.
No.
And he was electric. Like, he was, even his hop for one of the scores, and just
give him a bit
like,
of space.
it's so hard for a defender. He was brilliant. And Meath were.
You'd wonder though at the end, like, you put the question at the beginning, like, would you prefer to be Louth or would you prefer to be Meath? Like, at the end of the year, if they lose to Donegal, they'll say we had a great year. They beat, so it's their highlight of the year going to be beating Kerry, beating Dublin, beating Galway, but nothing really to show for it. Meath left the Leinster title behind them big time this year. They were absolutely flying, and they played with that, as we've mentioned a few times, that abandonment. They scored, I don't know what they scored in the first half, 14, 15 points, and they were absolutely flying. They were mauling Louth. I remember thinking they looked fitter all over the field. They were bigger, they were stronger. Louth didn't know what to do. Then they got a goal. Then they got a second goal. And then Meath, I'd be laughed at people say this, but I think they gassed out. I think they put so much effort into 45, 50 minutes. But the Leinster title was there for them. I still think they're a better team than Louth. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Fair play to Louth, and they got their Leinster and get your goals, and it doesn't matter how you win once you win. But I just think Meath were so good this year. They were good in Division 2. They were a kick of a ball away from getting promoted to Division 1. So it was no surprise when they came in. They were 12 points down against Offaly, I think, at half-time in the Leinster Championship. And they came back and bet Offaly by 6 points or something. I know there was a big wind, but just putting up huge scores with a great squad.
But there's definitely a bit of stealing. How many times? You look at they went ahead against Galway. Galway get a goal, then they get the second goal. I think Galway get, and they go 3 points up, and you're thinking, they kick on now. Did they?
Yeah.
The ball comes in, and I'm not sure who won it from that turnover, wins it. How many times will a player just kick that up against the keeper? No, doesn't even look. Throws it across.
The Meath turnover. Morris got it. Jordy Morris got it.
Yeah, but he got it. He gave it
the
to
Costello. The flick over his shoulder.
He didn't even look.
And
next thing he's tapped it. I said, there is something about them. There is that consistency. All right, there's different games. Maybe you think, oh jeez, that was a poor game, but in general, they're building up to this. And while it's a huge mountain for them on Sunday, but I give them a chance.
Yeah.
You give them a chance.
What they can't do is what every other team has done this year against Donegal, where teams think at half-time against Donegal, jeez, we're in this. We're going well. Louth were jeez, we're stick. That was up in Ballybuffet, I think, and they were 2 points down at half-time, Louth were, and they weren't playing well at all. Donegal, it looked like, nothing's working for them, and then they went on. They kicked on the second half. It was similar the last day as well.
Monaghan looked like,
Jim McGuinness is pushing out the whole kind of poor us thing, and they all think he's moaning, but he's probably been smart there as well. Take the attention away from the players. Just he'll take all the flack. Donegal, I've relations up in Donegal. I was actually up there the day they played Monaghan, and I had to drive back down and listen to them. I was talking to him before I left, and they said, we haven't seen a full match of proper Donegal football this year. We've seen a half here, a half there, the odd good performance, but they know there's a big performance in them. But if they're not on the ball, Meath are the right ones to catch them.
And some Tigers defenders like Rafferty, and they're good. They're solid side.
And they
won't be going away. I suppose on Saturday evening, then after the Kildare match, Tyrone and Kerry. Tyrone have quietly kind of been tipping along there, and Kerry, massive win last day. Now they have to go and rile themselves up again for another tough test in Tyrone. My kind of thoughts on Tyrone was Canavan and McCurry were so quiet last day. I'd worry about that from a Kerry point of view. They won't be as bad next day. If them two lads are on it, they're hard stopped, and they've good players all around the pitch. Kerry are what they are. They're a serious side, and we've seen against Armagh what they're capable of. They need to be consistent now and back it up. I know they have a few players coming back. Probably Paul Geaney might be back in the frame. I think they'll need him, whether it be semi-final or final. Paddy Clifford was such a huge difference, and David nearly kind of goes up another level when he has Paddy on the pitch. But it's another interesting semi-final.
What we saw from Kerry in the second half the last day, anybody that likes football or loves football, I was sitting at home and you're watching it and you're like, oh God, this is great.
And you'd love to be from Kerry.
But even the new rules are the best rules ever. This is what we were trying out.
And as Kildare people as well, we have it in the back of us as well, where you want Armagh to do well because you want to see Geezer being happy, and there's always that thing. But Kerry in full flow, and the way the points they were kicking, the way they dominated, the way I think it was Richard Commons had messaged into a group of men, and he just said total football. Now can they do that again? They'd obviously have the players to do it, but Tyrone have been Tyrone looked at that and said, right, how are we going to stop that? Tyrone are a good side, and they're not there for we're going to be playing against them next year. Didn't they get relegated out of Division 1 this year?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So
but the matchups will be interesting too. Who's going to pick up? Obviously David Clifford, and you think you're right, a bit like Armagh, for long periods you look at Clifford was tied up, and next thing Shawnee Shea steps up and kicks for the 12 points.
I just found it interesting with Clifford, and watching him last day. he hung around loads and kind of went around telly in that top right hand corner, and he didn't actually get that involved. But it was he was pointing and directing lads, but it was almost like he was kind of staying out to leave it open, and then at times then he'd drift in and go at McCambridge. And then the second half, he was way more involved in the play then, taking way more ball, where he was not standing back. Obviously, I don't know if it was a plan, but he was dragging him out, because obviously where was all the focus going to be on him, and trying to create other gaps. Some of the scores he kicked. Shawnee O'Shea was class, but Jesus, like Armagh let him. There's even one of them from the edge of the arc, and it's probably a habit nearly more than that, and I think it was Tiernan Kelly, instead of going and engaging him, drifted off him, and then he just lined it up and kicked it over. As you say, Tyrone aren't going to allow Shawnee O'Shea that space or to get the shots off, but it'll definitely be a good contest. It will be.
There were you felt going into it like, and again, I know everyone will say the cute carriness, but it felt like they were a team on a mission. Obviously, Dara O'Shea's comments in the paper, he said something like, what did he say? They'd be better if they produce football like that, they'd be better off out of it. And of course, we had Jack then took a lot of offence out of that, and it looked like Shawnee Shea was a bit the same. I said it was a few.
Brolly was saying Clifford was the only
person. Yeah. Well,
so.
I stopped reading Brolly a long time ago.
And then Clifford's call to the fans as well, and kind of getting on to them a little bit.
But
you need that, and that goes back to maybe what Donegal are doing as well. You have to create that bit of grit in there.
It does against the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And McGuinness is really good at it.
Like,
it's always about the hills, and it's always about the people, and it's all like, and it's wise. Like he's doing, we're all in this together, and this is us, this is her, and we talk about the wildness, and it's really,
you have to create that.
Someone said they're a well balanced team, they're chipping both shoulders. But you need it, like you take your hats off to them.
Of course, definitely.
They're good at it, so it'll be interesting too. I'm really looking forward to both games of the weekend. I think
predictions on both Meath or Donegal.
I think Donegal will have too much. If they bring that running game that they're so good at, and again, look, I think Meath will be competitive, but have they enough to go the full distance? So I'll give Donegal the nod there, and the next one's going to be really. It's like you're really looking. You're saying Kerry just on the performance the last day, but if you look at some of the performances up to that, like the Cork game, the fits and start the Meath game, and we're really good at analysing teams on the last game.
Of course.
So if Kerry can I suppose match that sort of for maybe a longer period, I don't think any team will beat them. But will they do that? It's a tough call. I just have a sneak that Tyrone might just get across the line. I could be wrong. I just think they won't get as much space. They'll be hungry, and I know both teams will be hungry, but I just fancy
give the nod to
Tyrone. Yeah.
Tom.
Tyrone. Like the Dubs were so poor in their shot selection, and the space they gave.
We've a tractor goal pass. You'd be.
That's why I love South Kildare. I love it down here.
It's all corner. It's up where we are. It's all turf. That's the difference. It's all good land down around here.
Good proper soil. Good soil. Men of soil. But again, I'm just going on what Tyrone were allowed to do against Dublin, and how Dublin kicked a lot of wides they normally wouldn't kick. Dublin just were lacking that leader. I know Con came in late and he wasn't fit, but would another team allow Tyrone do that? Probably not. I can't. I'm hoping it'll be tight. But if Kerry produce even kind of half of what they did in the second half the last day, I can't see them living with them. But you wouldn't rule out a shock because Tyrone are so dogged anyway. But I have to go with Kerry.
Go Kerry. And Donegal and Meath.
Only a couple of points in at half time, and then Donegal to win by about 10 points.
That's what I was going to say.
Listen, I don't know. It's easy to sit here, lads. Wouldn't it be great for Meath to kick on and do this? I don't want to see Meath winning all Ireland. They're Kildare men.
Get off the fence there.
I've seen Meath lift 2, I think, in my lifetime. That's too many. Yeah. But I know. Listen, the Meath story is a great one this year, and Meath people I know, like they've left that Leinster behind them. They have, and there's no point in sugarcoating it and saying how great a season they've had. I think they can absolutely put it up to Donegal, but they need to rattle Donegal. Don't let them control it. Don't let them control the game on their own terms, like they always seem to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what Robbie has under his belt for the weekend, but they're going to have to try something different. I want to say, from a Donegal point of view, I really want to see the best of Donegal.
Yeah.
I'm fed up seeing them, you know, at half pace and this kind of stuff, and they're relying on Michael Murphy to do something. I want to see them actually turning up.
And they have a bench, like, in fairness. Like obviously Paddy McBrearty comes in, and you know,
big men around the middle, around the middle, No, they do. They have a squad. Jesus, like even Jamie Brennan, like, and he hasn't probably played a whole lot, but like pace, like they're all just really
Darrell Wales, he's coming on now, and he is having some start of the year, and it's gas.
There's another one come on last.
It's gas. You see, like, I'm not sure which match, but Darrell Wales gave away. He got 2 or 3 turnovers in a row. And he was taken off, and he hasn't been seen since. You know, hasn't got back into the team.
I know.
You think, geez, that's fairly ruthless. Like, all right, you'll allow a lad maybe a bit. But tough luck. You give the jersey to someone else. Do you know? And that's,
you're waiting on them to
it's very easy to do that when you have a panel.
You
know what I mean? So interesting.
Fair.
It'll be 2 good semi-finals. I think the same as Tom on Donegal. I can see Meath living with them, but I fancy Donegal to pull away and put 10-ish points between them. And I think Kerry will beat Tyrone. I think they'll have too much class. I think Clifford will be on it again, and what a player. Jesus, some of the scores he kicked last day. And McCambridge is so good. He's so good, but it's literally in that situation undefendable. Like, even some of the 2-pointers he kicked, he wasn't running onto them. It was just got it and snapshot from a standing position.
It's funny. I remember Marshall Cherlune in an interview maybe before the 97 All-Ireland, and we're talking about, you know, his shooting, and he says, you know, but attack or defenders coming to him, and he can still have to get, and he used to say, all I need is enough room to swing my leg. Doesn't matter if there's 20 lads there, once I can swing the leg, I'm confident that. And you think the same with Clifford. It's like there's times he just bumps off a lad to give him to step back, and next thing, and he's such a good striker.
That solo, like somebody said after the game, because that's another brilliant slow-mo package. There's a brilliant videographer. He's only a young lad working with the GA at the moment. I can't remember his name, but he put it together. And somebody said, I wonder, does Clifford do that on purpose to make the defender bite? So if you look back at it, which you'll be able to see it easily, is like he lifts the foot up high to solo it, and it makes it look like he's lost control for a split second. The defender bites, he pulls the ball back in, and he's gone. And that's the half a yard he needs.
Show him, they're giving the... And even if you knew, it's like maybe Sean Kavanagh when he used to drop, you just knew he was going to drop and go on to the right.
But the other thing with Clifford is, and it's hard to see it, he's unbelievably fast for a big man. Like, he can get away from defenders. Like, and he's a huge,
and strength. So the strength he has.
And he plays with an edge as well. Like,
he's the best I've ever saw.
If you want to give it to him, expected it back. Like,
I remember himself in O'Hora there a few years ago. Like, that was class.
He got a score the other day, and he gave it back to your man a bit, and the linesman was in, and I was thinking, feck off.
Just let him cook.
He's taking enough hardship off them, but a big weekend of sport ahead. Lads, thanks a million for Tom. Special thanks to you for coming in and joining us this week. Johnny, thanks to you as well. We do appreciate you.
Well, we had 2 weeks off because Podge was on holidays.
Well then.
I should have to mind myself. Look after myself.
Give us a nice shade of berry. All right.
I can't make the final this weekend. I'm in fucking Budapest. I got again.
Oh, lovely.
Stag. Had a hardship, but sure, look.
You must spend a lot of time under the umbrella. Have a pale complexion.
In the pub.
Like shade in the pub.
It wasn't the pub.
Davy Burns in Budapest as well.
I've been there.
Lads, thanks a million. Appreciate it. This is All About the Game podcast in association with Clinched. You can download our podcast wherever you get your podcast. We'll be there waiting. Best of luck to Kildare the weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, lads.
Sound Podge.
Cheers. Thanks, Podge. Thanks, lads.